Welcome to the Informal Outdoors. Today we're heading down the Pembina River in Alberta in the NRS Pulsar Packrafts. So I picked up these Packrafts a couple of weeks ago. I picked up one in orange, which is a standard, and a blue one in the XL size. Today's just going to be a test run with the easy paddle or float down the Pembina River. The journey down the river should take about an hour, which should give us a good indication of what these boats are capable of in these sorts of conditions. The river is rated to a 1/2 in places, and the water level is low to medium. As you can see, we're just setting up the Packrafts right now. I decided to bring along my battery DeWalt air blower. It's actually a tire inflator, but it does have an option to just push out lots of air at low pressure, which worked out great. The types of valves on this boat is the Bravo or Hinckley-Roberts style valves. They have a little press button in the middle, which you can force open the valve for deflation, or you can press the button again and it closes the valve. Each Packraft comes with an inflation bag, that little tube thing, I believe it's for mouth filling, and also a repair kit.
It's ice water! Okay, I was worried about getting in the cold river and I just dumped ice water all over myself.
Okay, so try and stay out of the shallow stuff. Well, just follow the river around. What time is it? So my wife Toby has very limited kayaking or canoe experience, but she's very comfortable around water. She's a qualified diver like myself, and we're both good swimmers. Back in my military days, I completed the 2-star qualification for canoes and kayaks, and I've done lots of kayaking and canoeing in different parts of the world, and I'd say I'm probably an intermediate paddler. I would say I'm more comfortable in a kayak than in a canoe, and especially in any rough waters, so say class 2 to 3, I'd take a kayak any day. One feature that made me buy this particular pack boat is that it had the tie zip, which allows you to access the inside of the pack boat to put camping equipment in. So you're not carrying all that equipment on top of the boat, you can actually put it inside, which is a really good idea. The tube material is made out of 210D nylon, which is a dual TPU coated, and the floor is an 840D nylon dual TPU coat as well, so it's a little bit thicker for abrasion.
That's beautiful.
This is a general use Packraft that can be used on lakes as well as rivers. I'd say up to around class 2. So this is the first set of riffles, so nothing crazy. So this is a good test to see how stable the boat is. So another feature I'd like to mention is that it does have a full inflatable floor and a self-bailing bottom. So you actually elevate it above the water on the inflatable cushion and the water drains out through the floor itself. I did notice after a few minutes of it being in the colder water that the pressure did drop in the pack boat, and I probably should have pulled over and filled it a little bit more. As you can see, there's some creases in there, so it's not running at its ideal pressure. Even so, the boat is very, very stable, and I felt very comfortable in this turbulent water. The part of the river that we're floating down is just near Evansburg, and there is a company that will hire out float tubes and do a shuttle service if you want to just float down the river. It takes about 2 hours if you're on a tube, but we managed to cover the same distance in less time. It's a very scenic route with high cliffs on one side or two sides depending which part of the river you're at, and you can see lots of geological features and forests.
Last one, rapids. I'm bumping into it.
While paddling, I found myself leaning back into the cushion quite a bit, and it was actually quite comfortable. but leaning back doesn't really lend itself to a stable position. However, the Packraft isn't really a whitewater packraft, so for this type of paddling, it's perfect. I don't know. I think it's maybe part of a walk. Generally the tracking was pretty good, but I could see on a flat open lake and high winds, this thing would be a bit of a pig to go in the right direction. However, going down a river with flow, not a problem. So we're heading into some bigger rapids than earlier on. These are not even class 2, but there's a few riffles and a bit of white tips on these waves. Overall, the Packraft felt very stable, even in some turbulent water, not a problem at all. But I did feel myself want to reach to brace with my knees, but there was nowhere for that to go. So I would have felt better if I could have locked my knees into something. But I think that's more of a me thing. I'm used to being a kayak, so your mileage may vary. Here you can see Highway 16 heading across via Evansburg and also the rail bridge beyond. Overall, our first experience in the Packrafts was excellent. We had a great time. We bounced off a couple of rocks where the water wasn't deep enough, and there was no damage to the Packrafts at all. We just slid across them, so no problems there. So here I'm just showing a comparison between the standard and the XL version. As you can see, they look very similar, but the blue one, which is the XL, is slightly longer. And there you can see the tie zip right at the back. That's where you put all your equipment in. And again, you can see the slightly longer version with the blue Packraft. So I'm 5'9" and 200 pounds, and this is me sat in the standard. It's a comfortable fit. The standard load capacity is 325 pounds versus the XL at 350. However, I found the XL much better. There's a bit more room to move around in, and if I was carrying more equipment, it also has more capacity. So we just got back from our first trip with the NRS Pulsar Packrafts, and we went for maybe an hour and a half down the Pembina River. Had a lot of fun. Actually really enjoyed it very much. Glad I went with the larger at the XL rather than the standard, even though I could probably fit in the standard. I think it's for someone of my size. I'm 5'9", about 200 pounds. It's going to need a bit more wiggle room if you're going to be bringing like more gear with you, or you're going to bring a dog or something like that. I wasn't 100% sure about how much I had to put in. It says 1.5 psi, but how do you measure that, to be honest? So I think they could have gone a little bit higher in pressure, especially the seats. I left them pretty underinflated because I thought it'd be more comfortable, but I actually ended up sitting in water, which was okay. It's not terrible, but I did put some more air in later on and it was much better, a lot more solid. So that was good, something I've learned. Generally, I think, I say when I put the boat in the water and it started to cool it down, I dropped in pressure and I should have put a bit more air in. As far as these Packrafts are concerned, they're around that 8.5 pound mark, and for pricing, they're probably somewhere on the cheaper end, I would say, even though they are relatively expensive. I think these are around the $1,200 Canadian price range. So it's substantial for what it is, really, but you can pay, you know, $2,500 or whichever. So one thing I think I would have preferred is having the thigh straps. I'm used to using a kayak where you can actually brace yourself a little bit better. It's better for getting power through the paddle, etc., and it just makes you more connected to the boat. With this setup, you felt a little bit kind of, you know, you had to really work with the boat a little bit more. It didn't feel as stable as it could do as when you can lock yourself into position. So I think that's one thing. If I was going to do this again, I would maybe pay extra and get the thigh straps. But if you're going on class 1, 2 like we did today, then this is adequate, very, very stable. I never felt that it was going to tip or anything like that. So it's pretty good that way. So hopefully you'll see these boats in the future. I've got some camping ideas I want to do, float down the river. So stay tuned if you're interested in that type of content. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'm looking forward to some great trips down the river. So until next time, take care. And as always, thank you very much for watching. If you like my videos, leave me a comment, maybe a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe.